Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Allcott channel. I hope you guys are all doing wonderfully well. Wales have lost, they have bowed out of Euro 2020, losing 4-0. 4-0 to Denmark. Now the bookies had Wales as massive underdogs for this game, 4-1 going into it, which I thought was a bit of a surprise because I thought the way that Wales play, defensively they're generally pretty strong and they're quite neat in midfield. And then of course you've got Ramsey, you've got Bale. But Denmark, wow. I think they really arrived now. I mean, 4-0, we'll get into the goals. I think some of the goals were absolutely atrocious. And I thought the referee was an absolute disgrace at times. And those things matter, especially for a team like Wales. Because when you are the underdog, you've got to get that little bit of luck. And it's got to work out for you. And you've got to hope that they miss chances and all those things. And hope that you take some yourself as well. But 0.53 XG for Wales is nowhere near good enough. If they're, even if you are going to try and get that little bit of luck and get yourself through. And I think Wales fans, let me know what you think, because I think you will be ultimately quite disappointed that you didn't really lay a glove on Denmark at all. Just one shot on target in the entirety of the game. I think there were some things that really did make it frustrating for Wales. The refereeing, I thought the refereeing was pretty disgraceful, to be honest, at times. And we'll get into that in a second. But I think we've got to talk about Denmark. 4-0 winners. Looked like they tactically put a plan in place, which we'll talk about in a second. But also, man for man, I think they've got confidence. They've got good technical ability with a lot of the players. I think they lack a little bit going forward, which is weird to say in a 4-0 victory. But Dolberg completely took his chance. I think maybe when I'm saying that, I'm talking about Braithwaite. I think Braithwaite is pretty limited and he's not really a right winger either. So I think as the tournament progresses, that could be a bit of a problem when they're sort of huffing and puffing and trying to get themselves a goal. But again, Braithwaite scored a goal today. So, I can't really find too much criticism for Denmark, because I thought the tactical plan that they put in place, which was, look, yes, Kiefer Moore up top. Can you stop him? Yes, you should be able to do that, because you're going to play three at the back, which is what Denmark have done the last two games. They've looked much better in doing that. And, for a guy like Kiefer Moore, who has had this kind of problem with giving fouls away. And I've got to say, because you're bigger, doesn't mean that you just, you get these horrible fouls given against you all the time. Or the other side as well, you don't get given fouls either. And I think for both, Kiefer Moore, in terms of him getting booked, and then the lead up to the second goal, which was the killer, absolute killer for Wales, I think Kiefer Moore's really hard done by. But he's up top. But you've got Vestergaard, you've got Kjær, you've got Christensen, or we thought it was going to be Christensen. You're going to be able to deal with him in the air generally. But what was really interesting was Christensen followed Aaron Ramsey throughout the game. So Denmark, and it is common sense, but to play the same personnel, but to play in a different style, for Christensen to move into midfield, it meant that Delaney was able to get forward a little bit more as well, and Højbjerg played his normal kind of role. He sort of hugged the right-hand side a little bit more to, one, stop the midfielder, but secondly, kind of stop Bale a lot of the time. It was really clever, because Ramsey was just completely nullified. Also, I felt like Wales weren't able to kind of work the ball up the pitch as the game progressed, certainly in the first half. Again, because Ramsey couldn't really get on the ball, and Ramsey was trying to stay further up the pitch. But really, I think he probably should have dropped a little bit deeper, just to allow Wales to get up the pitch a little bit more. But they kind of, first 15 minutes, Wales looked good, and then Denmark took control, and then that really was the end of it. The control, both defensively and offensively, was really impressive. The one thing, I think there were some moments where you go, oh, go on Wales, go, counter-attack. And I think that was because Christensen was following Ramsey. So on that left-hand side, you were going to see that space. But they weren't really able to sort of utilise those snapshot moments where you get excited as a football fan, because you had Højbjerg moving over and stopping it, and then that extra layer behind it. And also, if you're Dan James, you're going to be looking for Kiefer Moore or Aaron Ramsey. And Aaron Ramsey was just completely nullified, as I said. Going forward, I really like Damsgaard. I think he looks really exciting. He kind of pops into that sort of zone 14 area, basically that attacking midfield area. But he starts over on that left-hand side. He looks really good, really neat, really tidy. And let's get on to the goals. So first goal, and again, in all of these games, the first goal is crucial. The second goal is everything. Absolutely everything. Because I think generally, and I think there's a stat on this, if you go 2-0 up in a game, you're 80% there. You know, your chances of winning a game are at 80%, which I know sounds obvious, but of course it's true, and therefore that second goal is massive. So the first goal goes in, great finish, great goal actually. I think it might be Mailer who plays a really cracking pass through into, it might be Damsgaard, I can't remember who it is, but anyway, gets to Dolberg, and Dolberg just picks his spot. Fantastic finish. Really, really impressed with him, and he obviously came into the side for the game and got himself 2 goals, so really smart move there with Poulsen sitting on the sidelines. But then I was thinking, right, if you're Wales here, just hang in there, get to half-time. Conor Roberts hurt his groin, which is, you know, not ideal. Nico Williams comes on. And there was a moment, you looked at the subs bench, and there was Nico Williams and there was Gunter there. And you had to choose between the two. And they went with Nico Williams, which is fine. But for the second goal, once they got to half-time, I thought, that's fine. Robert Page, I think, has been very clever with his tactics. Maybe he can get his hands on him and go, right, guys, let's figure this out. Let's move this about. Ramsey maybe drift out a bit more. Take Christensen with you and create space that way. Maybe that's a way of doing it. Or get involved a little bit more. But then within a few minutes in the second half, that second goal goes in. And again, you know, first of all, Kiefer Moore with his booking, he got booked for after falling down and his arms just caught him. It drives me mad that you're not allowed to have common sense anymore as a referee. It's so frustrating, and it honestly makes me dislike the game in those moments massively. Should never have been booked. But then the second one is, it's one of those where first there's a foul on Kiefer Moore. Like it's a really clear foul on Kiefer Moore. But again, it feels like the ref just didn't give him anything, or Wales didn't give Wales anything really at all. So then they get the ball, and that it's a great move. It's a great move down the right side. Braithwaite brings across it, and then Nico Williams with a disastrous clearance, like atrocious, straight to Dolberg, and it's 2-0, and it's game over. Wales just didn't have anything, to be honest, after that. They were trying to get themselves back in the game, and you're hoping for a moment from Bale, and ultimately I think there were some moments as well you're going, right, Bale, just take the game by the scruff of the neck, or when he's in one-on-one situations, go and beat that man. He really, really does not have the pace anymore, and I mean, I hate this, it is an old narrative, but he is nowhere near the same player that he was a couple of seasons ago. And in those one-on-one situations, that's where you go and win games. I think that's a huge part of this tournament, because so many teams are so well drilled. You need to be able to take a player out of the game with a bit of movement, or in one-on-one situations. So Bale wasn't able to kind of do what Bale does, which is get them out of a hole. I think, as I say, I thought the ref gave Wales very, very little. So Welsh fans, let me know. But I think I'd be amazed if you're not annoyed at the second goal. And then after that, it's, you know, it's 2 goals right at the end. The last one, again, I'd love to know, guys, what you think about that, because surely that's offside. That feels like that's offside to me, but it wasn't given, and the game's over by that point. So although it is 4-0, it's not as bad as you think, really. The scoreline kind of, I mean, the scoreline's probably fair due to the fact that Denmark looked so comfortable, but 2-0 was maybe a little bit fairer. So those are my thoughts. I think Denmark, watch out for them. I really would love to see them play the Netherlands in the next round and see just how good they are. I think they, against a better defence, they you might be able to kind of shut them out a little bit with the loss of Eriksson as that creator, not having him available. But Damsgaard, as I said, has been really, really good. As has been Mailer as well, who's finished for the 4th goal, was absolutely outstanding. For Wales, that's the end of it. But I think this is still a success for them, really, to get themselves out of the group. That great win against Turkey, heads held high once again, I think. But for the first time, I think there was a very clear difference in quality, which you can see when you look at the squads of both the teams. So just one of those. So bad luck to Wales. Congratulations to Denmark, and they could go really far, really, really far in this tournament. Let me know what you think about Denmark. How far do you think they will go in this competition? Could they beat a team like the Netherlands? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well, and I'll see you guys soon.